Velkommen til.
Welkom bij.
Velkommen til.
Welcome to.
Velkommen til.
Bienvenido.
Bienvenue.
Witam v.
Dobro pashalavat.
Bienvenido.
Kalasori sisto.
Yokoso.
Ishten hosotta.
Hosjan Dinis. Welcome to the Auction House podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Auction House podcast. This is episode 26, Jack. We're back.
Woohoo!
We're back. Yet another episode, guys. We are going into the first half week of 9.1. It's very exciting stuff. We're in the beginning stages of figuring out. Yes, very good, of course. We're trying to figure out the best ways to prepare ourselves for when the raid releases this coming Wednesday. Very interesting stuff. But on the agenda today, guys, we have a couple things. We're going to talk about, obviously, the token. We're going to talk about a couple of markets, which is really only one, but it impacts a lot.
Yeah.
Korthite Crystal. And we have all sorts of news. The realm maintenance interview that we had a couple weeks ago is finally out. It is out, so you guys can listen to it. There will be a button you can you can click on. Hopefully something on our website you can listen to it as well. We are trying to figure that out currently, but we will let you guys know anywhere that you can find us, as well as 9.1 obviously being out. We're going to talk about that, and then a little bit about the Crafters Mark III, and then the raid preparation for the normal and heroic week and the mythic week. It's very interesting stuff, very important stuff.
Yes.
And then obviously the main part, which is Darkshore Capital coming on to the episode, Jack.
Yeah, that's going to be great with him. A lot of people know him already from YouTube. He's doing his gold making content, and we're going to talk about his stuff, what he's doing now. And yeah, we're going to find out some things about him. So stay tuned, I would say.
Absolutely. Hell yes.
Hey, how was your week, by the way, this week?
I mean, my week has been quite interesting. It's been all over the place, really, because I've been preparing heavy for 9.1, and then it came out, and now we're doing all this content. I'm trying to keep up. It's a lot of work. I set myself the goal of doing 4 different characters, which I've then figured out to, at the moment, doing Korthia and the anima grind that I want to do for the command table. It takes around an hour or 2 per character. So with 4 characters, that's a lot. 4 to 8 hours every day.
The end of the week. Yeah, that's gonna be you, man.
Yes. No, absolutely. But no, I enjoy it. It's great. And I have my second account where I basically sell everything that I can, and I have all my auctions to look at. So it's great.
You gonna set up a third one, by the way?
When the patch comes down and things start falling down in value, when shuffling becomes really, really good again, I will. Because then nice. I'll have one account that will just constantly be shuffling materials.
Yeah. And
an auction house account, and then a current content account.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's going to be the setup. So that's great. What about you, Jack?
I finished my website. It's now on a new host. It's faster. Working on some posts. Yeah, that's it actually. Playing the game, enjoying 9.1 in the way I can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a lot much to talk about for me this week.
No, I mean, yeah, it's all over the place, really, because we haven't gotten too much content yet, right?
Not yet, but that will come. How's
Next
Evelyn,
week.
by the way, doing?
She's doing better. She was a little sick earlier this week, but she's definitely feeling a lot better. This weekend, actually, as you guys are listening to this, we will actually be going out in the country. We're going to visit a castle here in Denmark. I won't say which one, but we are visiting a famous castle, and then we're also going to Copenhagen Sunday. So it's going to be a good weekend. It's going to be, some sightseeing, some enjoyment, some dinners, some food. It's going to be great.
Nice. Next up, what's that? The
token
prices.
Yes.
It has for the EU. You can talk about a couple of things. I think.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things to dive into here. Actually, we've seen the token. A lot of people would imagine that the token's probably going to go down. The new patch is out, but the thing is, there's not that many people buying gold yet because there's not really a reason to, because we can't craft our legendaries. Mythic Plus and raids, they aren't out fully yet. It's not until next week that craziness begins. So the token did actually take a dip in this last week, but it's been going up and it's been going down and it's been going up and down. And the reason that has happened, it went from 254K as a low point up to 271 as a high point. And that's a lot. That's 17K up and down, right? And it's been doing this because obviously we have a summer sale going on that they announced as the patch released. And then we also have a 6 months game time amount sale thingy, like one of the big discounts that they've done before. And here a couple days ago, they also announced a new Hearthstone expansion to come out in a month that you can pre-order. So the token is being impacted by a ton of things right now. So it's total chaos.
What was the lowest points on EU?
I think it was this last week, 251. Yeah, 251,000.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Are you ready for NA? So it went very stable. The upcoming week, it went to an average of 182 to 190 every time. And then all of a sudden, when the summer deal hits, it went up to a price of 999,400 gold.
Almost 200K.
Almost 200K.
Almost. It was almost there.
Insane. So what happened the next day? It's even crazier. The next day, it went to a point back to 182K. So it dropped with 80K of gold in one
18K.
day.
It's crazy. It's moving a lot. And we also had, on EU, we had multiple hours where tokens were just sold out. Literally. We could not buy any tokens because they were just sold out. Yeah, it was crazy when the summer sale came out because people were trying to buy tokens because they wanted the balance and they just couldn't, right? And it's also crazy that with how many things are going on right now, 4 big things that they're impacting it. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy.
And they also have now the 6 month game time you can buy with a new mount.
Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna help. I think
it's a lot.
I think maybe in 2 weeks we're gonna see a decent slow drop in price.
I would imagine. I would imagine the real big drop we're gonna see is 2-3 weeks after Mythic. So in a month, I think the token is gonna start going down. But the thing is, in a month, the new Hearthstone expansion is gonna release. So
is it a big one? Is it like
yes? It's a big Hearthstone expansion. So. We don't know, but it's definitely looking to a month or two into this current WoW patch. It's looking to go down.
More gold is required.
Indeed.
Most definitely, more gold is required.
Markets. Korthite Crystal. I think that's the biggest one we can talk about.
Oh yeah.
I think it's the only one we should talk about because there is happening a lot in the market. And, let me first start. Did you expect it like it is now?
I expected it to fall very quickly because people are going to be gold hungry and they definitely don't want to sit around and wait for gold. So everybody is going to undercut each other, right? So it makes sense. Yeah. I will say that I expected there to be less because Blizzard actually increased the amount of Korthite crystals that we get. Right? They increased it once on the PTR. And then they also increased it another time for the release and didn't tell anybody. So, but hey,
is it official? Is it officially out that they did that? Because I didn't hear anything.
No, it's not officially out, but we know because we can see how many we're getting, right? But it's still not significant enough to drive the price down, obnoxiously. So the price is still very high. What it seems to be, at least on a lot of high pop servers, is around 2,000 gold. And the only reason that it keeps just going down and down and down is because people aren't crafting. People aren't using the Korthite crystals right now. It's useless
at the moment,
Yeah, it's useless because we can't use it until next week before we get to craft the legendaries.
Yeah. And then still we have the problem that not everybody can craft them because not everybody can play the game every time
and everybody isn't guaranteed to finish Torghast to get their soul cinders. So it's gonna be very different depending on the server, especially early on.
I say we will see a price increase of Korthite crystals, but that will take a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the way that I see it is if Blizzard doesn't increase the amount of Korthite crystals that we get currently, the price is going to increase or we can start crafting the legendaries, definitely.
Yeah.
Because right now, if we just look at my server at this moment of looking at it, it has 1,600 Korthite Crystals on the auction house. Right?
Yeah, indeed.
And that's only enough to make 40 legendaries. 40 pieces.
It's not a lot. And I assume not all of them are the cheapest price.
No, absolutely not. And even we know people are holding on to the Korthite Crystals. We know.
Oh, yeah.
But there's going to be so many people that are buying these legendaries that it's just gonna run out, right? Because if you take somebody that would craft every single piece of gear in terms of the legendaries, it's like 35 pieces. So they would buy out the entire auction house just to make it to post it on the auction house.
And we also see the effect on other materials. What's happening with the Korthite? We are seeing a price going down for the silk because people are a bit confused at the moment. They don't know what they can do with it. They see the opportunity of selling it because it's more worth than it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I'm doing the same on some of my characters. I'm selling it because now I can make a lot of money and I cannot use it because I don't craft on those other realms.
Yeah.
Also, we've seen increase on quantity of leather and meat. That has to do with the fact that there's a lot of farming at the moment in the new area.
Yes.
And
there's
that means more meat, more silk, more leather. So that's the thing.
And a lot of people will be like, in a week's time, a lot of people will be farming those 2x4s because they give the research that is required for one of the reputations on Korthia, the one that gives you the crafter's mark.
Mm-hmm.
The research is required to get the domination things as well for raiders and Mythic Plus players. So a lot of people are going to be farming that, which means that there's going to be a little bit of an influx of materials, but that's not necessarily a problem because the demand is going to skyrocket next week.
Now, the interesting thing is, and I've thought about this, if somebody now has a leather worker paired with a jewel crafter, blacksmith or tailing, he's going to be the best. He's going to have the best time of his life if he's now getting the rep because leather is going to drop in price. There's a high quantity. It's going to be cheap for the Vestige of Origins. There is no leather bis legendary. It's currently the best in slot list that we have been looking at, getting information from the top guilds that are going to be in the first race, but also just top 200, top 100. They're almost using the exact same best in slot list. And it's going to be, if you're a jewel crafter or if you make tailoring, that's the best. Tailoring and jewel crafting seem to be the two top dogs, at least at the start of the patch. If you have those with leatherworking, you're going to be the best.
Yeah, additionally with leatherworking as well, it's going to be crazy, right? But that's only legendaries.
What I don't suggest is to switch or remove leatherworking.
No.
Unless, because in some cases you have like rare recipes and you don't want to lose those. Keep those. Also, keep those for yourself.
Yeah.
And maybe make a second leatherworker on that tailor or on a jewel crafter.
Yeah. But even if you don't, right? Even if you don't, it's still fine because remember on your crafters, you can still get the crafter's marks, right? And you can make the 200 eye level gear, which a lot of people will be buying. Like an obnoxious amount of people will be buying that to get themselves some gear before they venture out into the new 9.1 content. So, it's also only the beginning of the patch. And throughout the patch, there might be balancing changes. And in the future, they might change things around and then leatherworking might be the top dog again. But whatever it is, deleting professions is never something that's like a really good idea. It's almost better to just make a new character instead, unless the only thing that you have is like current content stuff. So you don't lose anything, right?
Yes. What's up next? We got some topics we want to talk about.
We have some news.
First of all, today. It's Friday. Well, it's actually Saturday. Looking at the time now.
Yeah, it is.
But on Friday, Brian from Real Maintenance released the episode called House Call, and in that episode, Sensible and I got interviewed by Brian, talking about the podcast and talking about gold making, some 9.1 stuff, and it was such a fun and great experience for us, right?
Hell yeah. It's a really, really good episode. I had a good time. The conversation was great. We talked about a lot of really impactful things too. So I mean, definitely, if you guys are interested, go ahead and listen to that. As I said earlier, we're going to try to get it up on the website, our auctionhousepodcast.com.
Yeah.
We'll let you guys know all around the place where you can find us, of course.
Indeed. As well, if you want to listen to the episode, you can Google Realm Maintenance Podcast. Or else what you can do is go to warcraftradio.com and go to the directory and search. And on the right, you will see a little embedded player. And that's Realm Maintenance. You can listen to the episode. We start at like 12 minutes, I think. I'm not sure. But it's great. And also, if you are there, search us up and give us a rating. Log in with your Battle.net account, give us a rating. I don't care what kind of rating you give a little text on it and show your appreciation for our podcast.
Absolutely.
We would like that a lot. Next up, you pick one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've been talking about 9.1 coming out, which we just discussed a little bit. But I think we should talk about like our feelings about it, Jack. Our feelings about 9.1. How do you feel about 9.1?
So, I'm going to be really fair. As a player, I'm not that enthusiastic as I was. I knew there wasn't a lot of content in it, but it really feels like a grind from the start. Normally there's a grind behind. You do some stuff and it's fun, and I can wait for 9.2. That's what I'm gonna say. How about you then?
No, I'm really enjoying it, honestly. Yeah. I've never scared away from grinds in WoW. I always love when I see that there's a lot of things that I can put my mind to. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons that I also have been very excited for this patch is because I'll be doing my best to create myself an alt army. Currently, I'm working on 4 level 60s right now that I plan to get up to speed, up to the top levels, just to see how the process is. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I decide the most efficient way of bringing more up to that capacity. But I currently have an additional 4 level 50s and some a little over 50 that I'm going to take to level 60 and then also start the whole process of getting the command table up and everything. So it's I have a lot to do. Definitely. I have a lot to keep myself busy with. So far, I've definitely enjoyed all the lore, all the cinematics. And I mean, I enjoyed the nature of what Korthia is. I enjoyed that it's not too big of a zone as well. So
you don't like to walk, you lazy son of a...
No, it's not that I don't like... It's not that I don't like to walk. It's just... It's kind of like, in terms of size, it's kind of like Timeless Isle, you know?
Is it big?
No, it's small.
That's what she said.
Oh, unfortunate. Title your sex tape.
Wait, that's the wrong one.
Title your sex tape. There you go. Yeah. No, but Jack, obviously, talking about 9.1 and Korthia, there's the Crafter's Mark.
Yes.
Right? We mentioned it a short little bit in our previous section about the markets.
It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good market to get into.
Absolutely. A lot of people were thinking that, we can get all that Korthia gear on Korthia. Why would anyone buy the gear from the Crafter's Marks and the auction house? I'll tell you right now, is when people get to level 60 and they are like, okay, well, my character is 130 eye level. I'm not going to be able to do anything out on Korthia. I'll be absolutely plastered by all these mobs. So let me buy some gear in the auction house. Yeah. So many people are going to do that. Even if you can get gear on Korthia, even if you have multiple mains that send gear to an alt, there's not a lot of people aren't going to be doing that, right? That crafted gear is people paying for convenience.
There's an opportunity with this type of gold making, definitely. Yeah. And don't forget as well the 230 gear we can start
one
selling.
Unique piece. Very good.
It's very interesting. We recommended this to do every day a bit of Korthia, get the wrap up for these Crafter's Marks 3. It should take 2 weeks if you do it almost every day.
If you go out of your way and you grind 2x4s and grind the research harder than anybody else could and do all the secret gatherings, then you'll be able to get there really quickly. It shouldn't take 2 weeks. But if you just want to chill, relax, do the dailies, whatever, it's going to take a little bit. But there's no reason to, unless you really want to, there's no reason to rush harder than anyone in the world, right? You want to enjoy the content too.
Indeed. Now, between our TSM users, there's some good news about this as well. In the previous beta update, and if you don't have beta from TSM, go to the go to Tracical Master website, and there's a blog. Click on it. Go to the blog post about the beta, and you can sign up for free or get premium. Go to my website, and then on the right, you see a button that says Tracical Master Affiliate. Click on it, get the premium, and you get straight away a beta and all extras for it. So recently, there was a little bit of a problem with TSM, there was a little bit of a thing that people didn't really like, and it was that the Crafter's Mark price was picked by TSM based on the lowest or the cheapest craft. Now, yesterday, and that's the Thursday, or 2 days ago, I'm confused. They changed it, and now the Crafter's Mark price of any Crafter's Mark is based on the character you make the Crafter's Mark on, and it's not anymore based on the cheapest Crafter's Mark there is. So it won't pick the Tailor Crafter's Mark price when you're doing the Crafter's Mark on your blacksmith. So that's not going to happen anymore. They fixed that. They changed that. So that's a relief, because otherwise we had to make more custom price sources, and you need to make different auctioning operations for each Crafter's Mark and or each profession that can craft with a Crafter's Mark. That's gonna be a pain in the
box, bruv. Now, we have one more thing as part of the news. It's just a little reminder for everyone. It's to make sure you guys check out the release schedule of content. Okay. Early days of gold making really matters when the raid releases, Mythic Plus releases, new PvP season releases. Wowhead has a full list if you guys are wondering, but also just so we can mention it to you guys. This second week of the patch will be obviously the 6th and 7th, depending on if you're an NA or EU. That is the week where normal and heroic will be released for the raid. So that will be the first raiding week where a lot of people are going to be going crazy. So you guys definitely want to be on one of those 2 days if you're on NA or EU. That is the most important day, literally, because there's going to be so many people buying up materials, consumables, everything that they need for the raid. And that's where you want to be on the auction house and posting and canceling as much as you can.
Keep in mind, check out when you can buy the cheapest material prices on your server. You can check that out by going to the Undermine Journal website and check out the heat map. The darker the spots are, if you check the price map, the darker the spots are, the better the prices are.
Yes.
And the data is based on 2 weeks data, so it may be not 100% correct, but it gives you an idea on when to buy. Also, that counts for when you should sell it. When the markers, the colors are the most brightest, that means the price is the highest. So you want to actually, just before the color gets bright, let me say it in that way, you want to start posting and you want to start being active in the market.
Yep.
Now,
actually, you can continue. I have something I want to say, but
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I wanted to say is a little tip for you guys as well.
Tip.
Especially early on when there's new patches and content out, a lot of goblins will go heavy and reset full markets. Even if they're willing to lose gold to hold a monopoly on certain things for a little while. So if you guys have some pre-invested materials or items or whatever it is, post them a little higher than what the market value is, because there's goblins that will buy out the entire market and reset it, and then you will have sold your item but posting it at a higher price and then selling it for more. Now, that's not guaranteed to work every single time, but it's worked multiple times for me because I posted on markets where I know people will reset it. And do that 1 day before reset or half a day, like the night before. That's what I would say. That's a little good tip to try and do if you are into flipping and you don't want to craft yourself.
Couple of markets you definitely want to get into is, first of all, the alchemy market. Get the flasks, get the combat potions. I would not go for the the utility potions because they don't really have an impact on the rate. Maybe for Mythic, but that's something, the Mythic dungeon, but that's for something else. That's first of all you want to get into. Second of all, get into your food. Try to get large meals. Go for the feast. The best feast at least is that one. Go for that
one. The hedonism one.
Yeah. Next to that, you want to go, and this is interesting. What you want to do is get your engineer and start making those auto hammers from Legion, because there is no item that is replaced for the auto hammers. It's a market a lot of people don't know about. Get into that market. It's in a lot of cases cheap to craft, and there's in most cases, a huge profit margin in it. So,
and a lot of the new raid you actually can't mount in, which means there's going to be even more uses for the auto hammer. And even if maybe even Jeeves parts, if that's something you're interested in, that's something you could also get into.
That's possible. And chance gems, get those up.
Yeah, everything that Raiders and Mythic Plus players, even PvPers use, it's everybody's going to be on top of it. Absolutely everyone. So.
And with this new expansion, we have the sharpening stones, the oils. Get those up.
Stones
and especially those sharpening stones. Those going to be so great.
And the oils and whatnot.
And so the other item from engineering is disposable spectrophasic reanimator. It's a reviving device. It sells really well. A lot of people don't know about it. Definitely get into the market. There's less competition in it. What I noticed on my realm. So I assume on more realms there's lesser competition. Well, maybe you're in a bad realm. That's possible. But yeah. Before we go to the main part and we're gonna interview our friend, our colleague, Darkshore Capital, we want to ask you guys to do something, and that's like click, follow, rate, like, subscribe. I don't know. Smash the like button. There's a lot you can do to keep following us. Go to Warcraft Radios, give us a rating. Go to Twitter. Just Google the Auction House podcast. If you do that, you get so many new things. By the way, our website is now full up. You can also go to Auction House Podcast, one word, .com. You go straight to our website. You can check our stuff out. You can listen to the episodes. So check it out as well, the website.
Yeah, I've been making some updates on there, and we're going to try and keep it as updated as possible. Nice. We have a little, actually a contact form now on the site. So if you guys want to get in contact with us, that is now also an additional way you can do it. There's a little chat box down in the bottom right corner, where you can send a little message to us if you want.
Yeah, or a big message.
Yeah, or a big message, or a giant essay, whatever you want to do. Nice.
That was the right one. The last thing we want to mention to you guys, there was a lot of requests for it, and we think it's important to put it back on. We're going to put out the Auction House podcast back on YouTube. So if you prefer to go to YouTube, type in the search, the Auction House podcast, subscribe to us, hit the bell, give it a like the episode, but we will be back on YouTube. Now, it won't be the same day as the podcast. We're gonna figure out how fast we can do it, but we want to do it in like 2 days before we release our podcast on the platforms you can listen on. So, yeah. Right. Let's go to the main part, and we go to Darkshore Capital.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main part. And of course, like last week, we told you already who's going to be on the show. This guy is for a very long time in the business. I know him from Legion when he was making content. He's like the Wall Street guy or for gold makers. A lot of people know him from YouTube. I think he streamed once or twice, I think. I'm not sure. But I'll ask him in a minute about that. And his name is based on one of the most known places in World of Warcraft. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Darkshore Capital. Woo!
Yay! Again, woo!
Welcome.
How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Welcome in.
Go good. Go nice. How is it with you, man?
Things are all right. Yeah. Happy to be here. Happy to talk about some gold making. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So,
we're gonna talk about gold making. Oh, wait, different show now.
Wait a second.
Wait, what's the show?
I'm gonna throw this. Yeah, never mind.
It's all fine. It's all fine. No, hey, how are you doing? How are you enjoying 9.1?
So I hope you guys won't kick me off for saying this, but I have a bit of a confession to make.
We're gonna get it.
I haven't even logged into retail World of Warcraft since 9.1's been released. I don't know if you heard about this thing that happened recently called the Burning Crusade, but
traitor. Okay.
Yeah, it's been kind of tough for business. I'm not gonna lie, but it's also been good for business in a different way. So, I haven't actually really checked out 9.1 yet. I do have some plans to do kind of a little bit of stuff there to just kind of take advantage of some prep work that I did earlier on. But yeah, all my focus recently has really been on Burning Crusade. It's been very refreshing to play a much simpler game, both like for the gameplay and the actual gold making aspects.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, and okay, now that I'm saying it out loud, like the idea of a shuffle. Obviously, we had a fairly infamous one at the end of BFA, but just the idea of like having kind of like simple shuffles back that you can really do to just kind of make gold when you're just AFK doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just been super fun. It's very like nice to just have this. You get the cloth, you make green, you make the enchanting materials, you sell the money, and you just get a ton of gold from that. And just something about that, because that was actually one of the first things that ever got me into gold making. Actually, back in would have been end of Mists of Pandaria. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was like a pretty big shuffle with ghost iron ore. And of course, I'm going to forget some of the details on it, but I'm pretty sure you could go ghost iron ore, prospect the gems, turn the gems into rings, or like some into rings, some into like, I don't know, things to just vendor, and then like disenchant things. So it was like a 3 or 4 step process with like different branching trees of like how to actually make the most optimal gold. And when I first saw like videos about that was just like, yeah, okay, this is something I really sink my teeth into. It's like, this is like, I'm building like an industry here. Like we're got whole different moving parts. So just having things like that again in the game seem really appealing that don't involve the scrapper, because like the scrapper is kind of lame. It's sort of the same thing, but like also not.
We didn't like the scrapper. The scrapper was not a good time.
No, it did its job. It got me a long boy, but yeah, never again.
And then you realized you scrapped 800,000 items, and you're like, okay, well, do I quit now?
Yeah, right. Well, wasn't there like a leaderboard on like somebody figured out like who scrapped the most time? Yeah, what a fun high score.
I think you were really high in that number.
Oh yeah, I was second on my realm. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
Wow.
For Terran Mill too, right?
and he's still going for it, huh? He's still going. He has a 4th account that's in the back.
No, that would be so bad. Holy moly, that would not be good.
So your first experience with gold making then Mists of Pandaria?
So that the gold making shuffle with the ghost iron ore, that was really what I would call sort of the first like dedicated time to make gold, because obviously you use the auction house. I've played since vanilla, so like I've always used the auction house to just sell things. But as far as like having a particular focus on actual gold making, that was kind of the first time with jewel crafting and enchanting at the end of Mists.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Are you planning to going to play 9.1?
I imagine I will. It'll come around. I kind of have like not the most time in the world to actually play the game, so I kind of tend to just do what's most interesting to me at the moment. I don't know how you guys feel about 9.1 overall, but as somebody who's not raiding currently, there's not a whole lot of like new content really. Like there's I don't know, all the Korthite stuff or whatnot, but I don't know. It's just not super appealing. So I'll get to it eventually. I have a bunch of like legendary crafting materials stocked up that something needs to be done with those before they before they spoil, so to speak. But yeah, eventually.
Yeah, I mean, 9.1 is in, I don't know. I mean, people have been taking to it in a lot of different ways. I've definitely already seen people that have been playing since, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, depending on being NA or EU players. And there's some that are enjoying it a hell of a lot and putting all their time and effort into doing as much content as possible and multiple characters. And then there's some people that were like, okay, well, I want to quit already, And I mean, it's fair. It's also when you wait that long for a new patch, it makes sense that there's a lot of people that expect, the Holy Grail, and then they get, not the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I think anyone who kind of built up their expectations for 9.1 to be this holy land of, endless content is probably just going to be very disappointed. I mean, it's literally just a patch. It's not a whole new expansion or anything.
Yeah, exactly. I'm enjoying it for what it is so far. Also, because I have multiple goals that I want to accomplish throughout the patch. So I'm just working on multiple characters, which takes, many, many, many hours every day.
Sure, yeah. Sounds like there's a bit of grinding.
Talking about grinding, the first thing you are getting basically slapped in your face in this new patch is grinding. And that's, I think, they shouldn't have done it, but...
I mean, we're never going to get around grinding in a game like World of Warcraft.
I know, but...
the game you're playing, right? It's World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I mean, it's so early already in the patch. You need to start grinding.
I mean, you don't need to. If you want to make a lot of gold, you obviously do. And if you want to be at the top levels in Mythic Plus and Raise, you gotta grind. And I feel like it's always been like that, but we don't have, I mean, in terms of random or small other pieces of content, we don't have that much of that this patch. But it's also a 0.1 patch, Yeah. Usually they're not super content heavy. And we also we don't have any new materials. We have a small new zone that's connected to a zone we already had. It's not super different in the art style. It's not. I mean, it feels like an addition to what we already had, not anything super new.
Well, let's get back to the roots. Darkshore Capital. What's up with that name, Darkshore Capital?
Ooh, excellent question. So when I kind of set about forming my little World of Warcraft operation, I don't know. I just wanted it to sound professional, I guess. So I don't know if that comes across as professional at all. I drew inspiration. There's I think it's not a hedge fund. It's just a financial company called BlackRock in the real world. And they just do money stuff, Wall Street things. So I was like, hey, BlackRock Mountain, that's a World of Warcraft thing. So then I just started thinking all right, what are all the different zones in World of Warcraft? And kind of settled on Darkshore. I thought it kind of had a similar kind of vibe to it. And the rest is history. That's where the name comes from.
You did thought let's do Booty Bay Capital?
Yeah, see, well, I see what you're saying, but it's a little too silly,
It sounds really like some sort of prostitution.
Also, yeah, there's definitely some insinuations there with the whole booty
problem,
thing.
You search up Booty Bay and it accidentally links you to something you're not supposed to click on, and then
Sure. Which nothing wrong with that, by the way. All good.
No, that's true.
Just wasn't the brand I was going for, is all. That's for my other side project, maybe.
Yeah. The OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Hey, and you did a bit of streaming. I know there's 1 or 2 videos. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I'm sure there's some VODs out there. So my Twitch channel has been around for quite a while. Doing there were some other previous games before World of Warcraft on there that, if you want to go look them up, sure, go ahead. But yeah, from time to time, I've been known to pop the stream on a little bit here and there, just to...
It says here Hello Kitty, but I don't think that's accurate, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of gold to be made in that game, I'm sure. Yeah, I like the streaming. It's, I don't know, it's kind of tough to fit in my schedule, just with not having a regular time that I can really dedicate to it too frequently. So who knows? Maybe it'll come back someday.
All over the place. That's okay though. People have all sorts of different schedules with streaming. It comes back and forth, especially with a game like World of Warcraft.
For sure. And so that's actually something that I've kind of enjoyed a little bit more recently with the YouTube. So before the Burning Crusade came out and stole away all of my attention, I kind of started doing I was calling it like a Let's Play series, which, if you are familiar with the concept of a Let's Play series, it's when somebody kind of just makes a slightly more edited video of them playing a game, to kind of like it's more than just a stream VOD because you kind of like focus on the interesting parts. Yeah. And to me, that was great because like if I just had, 30 minutes to pop on in the morning, check my auctions, well, okay, I can record 5 seconds here of checking these auctions and 5 seconds here of like this interesting thing that I found. So that actually kind of works well for me. And I've really been enjoying doing that when I actually do it.
Okay, yeah. But guys, if you heard like a bark, that was Sen doing a cough.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Those are my gold making mascots.
That's great. I want to go making mascot. Actually, we talked about it earlier a little bit about when you started gold making. Mm-hmm. Did you like have goals did you early on set goals as to what you wanted to reach, or did you just like jump, I guess, face first into it and just see what happened?
Yeah, early on, it really was kind of just diving in and just being really interested in sort of the mechanics of how to actually make the gold. I keep mentioning the shuffle thing and how it's just like a really like a meaty thing you can just get into. Setting up trade skill master operations back in the day. This was like when transmog flipping was like a very viable way to make gold. Sniping was a thing back then with trade skill master 3. Oh, I miss the sniper a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I don't know. I just was really interested. I'm a programmer in real life, so like I have this very kind of like analytical mind of seeing things in different steps. So I didn't really have like a goal per se. It was kind of just like, wow, this is really interesting. I'm just going to get into it and see what can happen. It wasn't until the end of BFA when they were like, hey, if you don't have your longboy yet, now's the time to do it. That I really had like
we're gonna throw a meteor on them.
Yep, exactly. So, and honestly, that was great too, because, actually having something to focus on really helped with kind of smoothing out
motivation
things. Motivation to sit there at the scrapper all day, every day. It was helpful.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good Lord. PTSD almost.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any goals, by the way, in TBC at the moment?
So TBC, I guess sort of some more short-term goals. So I'm playing with a few different friends and I want to be able to just buy everyone's all of the mounts that we need. So far we've bought all of the epic mounts, or I guess they had to buy their 60% mounts because they didn't boost. I cheaped out and I got the 58 boost. So we got all the 60% mounts, 3 of those, 4 epic mounts, and then so far I've bought 1 flying mount, which means we still have 3 more flying mounts and then 4 epic flying mounts, which is a lot of gold in TBC.
Yeah.
So that'll be over, I don't know, what's that, like 15,000 gold by the end of it. And then, they're helping out. They're not really gold makers, but they always just send me all their junk and I kind of filter through it and try to make the best of it as much as possible. So that's the current goal, I guess.
Okay. And
that's nice.
How are you achieving your gold make at the moment in the Burning Crusade?
Yeah, so again, I mentioned earlier, the shuffling has kind of been my main focus. And this is actually a good thing to talk about because, right, like obviously we're pretty familiar with the mechanics of shuffling, right? You're taking a raw material and converting it into something that people find more useful. So you're putting a little bit of time to save people the convenience of having to go do it themselves. But what I noticed, which kind of like added a whole nother level to this, was with enchanting in particular. So Dream Dust is it's like the 40 to 50 level range enchanting material that you need for when you're leveling up your enchanting. And there were a ton of people on the server we're playing on that were all trying to get their enchanting leveled up. And to do that, you have to go through all the different level ranges in original WoW. So, people just go to the auction house. They have a bunch of gold laying around because they've been playing Classic forever and just buy up all this stuff. So I noticed, all right, there's a huge price disparity between Runecloth and Dream Dust. So you can take advantage of shuffling there. And then on top of that, because I went through this disenchanting thing as well, because you have to get your enchanting up a certain amount so that you can actually disenchant certain things. There's a bunch of limited supply recipes in World of Warcraft, in Classic and TBC that are needed for doing, the most optimal way to level up your enchanting. So I figured out like, all right, if I can just go sit at this one vendor in Moonglade and, buy up these enchanting recipes whenever they come up, when I'm just AFK, like that's another thing on top of it. So the point I'm trying to get across is that by thinking about what is everyone doing? Okay, everyone's leveling up enchanting. What do they need for that? Well, obviously they need the raw materials, but also they need these limited supply recipes. So if you can take advantage of all those different aspects of the game, you can just like make tons and tons of gold. And especially at release, when everyone and their mother was like cramming into the auction house to just buy up everything, there was a huge supply drought. So I was able to bank up a few of these recipes and sell them for absolutely inexorbitant amounts of prices, which made us a nice chunk of gold to start off with. Yeah. And then we can do that with Netherweave now too. Netherweave is the Outland cloth. You can shuffle it into Arcane Dust pretty effectively. And that's all fairly AFK stuff you can do. Just buying up cheap cloth.
Simple. Good old basic gold making.
Mm-hmm. And then, something kind of interesting, because I've been keeping an eye on primals and sort of the cooldown cloth in the Burning Crusade.
Oh, yeah, Fell Cloth?
Yeah, well, so it's Shadow Cloth, Spell Cloth, and Primal Moon Cloth, which are all they're kind of like transmute cooldowns. So if you have a tailor at all leveled up, you should make sure you get those cooldowns, because you're basically just printing gold by doing those every 4 days. But something I found very interesting was there's very little variability in the price of those cloths, and as well as the primals, which are sort of like the high-end crafting materials, which means that you can't really flip them very effectively unless you're literally just camping the auction house all day and just buying up people's mistakes.
Ones, yeah.
Yeah, so and it just is interesting to me that the markets are so efficient at these really high demand materials in the Burning Crusade right now. Which, means that people out there actually farming the materials, going out to the Elemental Plateau or wherever your farming spot of choice is, it's a very stable method of gold making, as long as you can fight the competition that's out there, because it is definitely very popular at the moment.
Yeah, it's definitely something that a lot of people have been talking about, at least in my community, talking about all the different ways of making gold in TBC, because it's funny because a lot of them are only really playing TBC to make the gold to take it to retail, which is, it's a viable way of making gold. I just wonder how long it'll last.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I feel like the Burning Crusade does have a little bit more staying power than maybe Classic Vanilla did, with the introduction of arenas and just a little bit more diversity and what specs are viable.
It's also, I guess, a lot more people had the chance to play TBC compared to Vanilla, right? Because it came out a little later than the Vanilla did.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I would imagine that more people can recently remember that. And it's also, with Classic, a lot of people had already played a ton on private servers and whatnot. So I guess maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the numbers, but I would assume that that Classic private servers are probably a little more popular than the Burning Crusade ones, but I don't know. That's not something I'm super familiar with.
How are you, by the way, then paying your game time at the moment? You're still making some gold on the side and retail to pay your account, or are you just IRL money paying the game?
No, so when I started the Long Boy grind, I just switched over to using IRL money. I had used in-game money up until that point since WoD. When they introduced the token, hadn't paid for a single thing in WoW up until that point. But I figured, if I'm going all the way, making the 5 million, I might as well give myself every little help I can get. I did resist the urge to buy any tokens towards the end, which was definitely tempting. But
the urge to buy tokens is impossible to resist for me. It's I see just a little slight difference in my maxed out balance. I'm like, nope, I gotta get another one. Gotta get a new one. It's but the token is really, really high right now, so it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting to see how long it lasts with 9.1.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see if it goes down at all. I know that you guys have been talking about it kind of shooting up with 9.1 and TBC both coming out. It's been interesting to see it go
I would imagine it will, but then again, Blizzard goes ahead and announces there's going to be a new Hearthstone expansion in a month, right? And that's when I would imagine that the actual token would start going down, because that's a little after Mythic has been out a little bit. and people start chilling a little more, but then they release something else.
And then all of a sudden they come with the summer sale.
Yeah. Also the summer sale.
The summer sale.
It's not all of a sudden, right? It's right where it's supposed to be in the middle of summer.
Of course.
It's good timing, It's really, really good sales though. It's insane. Like it's so hard to not buy so many boosts because they're 33% off, which is insane. And I'd like for an alt army, I mean, whew, it's hard to
the
say
alt
no
army
to.
thing is that can be a very effective way to make gold. That's one of my kind of side retail projects, is having a bunch of dudes just crafting jards.
It's crazy right now because looking at the command tables, if you're willing to put as much time into the current command tables as they require, you're going to be very, very well set off when you're done with it, because they give so much of absolutely everything. Just reputation, materials, gold, polished pet charms, augment runes, absolutely everything all over the place. It's great.
Yeah, that's something like the mission tables or the command tables, whatever. That's something that like consistently always winds up being a good investment. And it has, like, obviously in WoD, it was just literally printing money. But yeah, Legion, BFA, and now with Shadowlands, it seems like.
But this time around, it's a little different because the actual game itself is, there is an add-on obviously for it, but the amount of time it takes to level up companions, followers, whatever you want to call them, is very extensive. It takes a long time unless you do it very efficiently. So it's the build up to get to the point where it's really, really good is super long. So a lot of people don't do it, or either if they don't do it, they don't know about it either.
True. So would you say that it's still worthwhile to start doing it now if it takes so long?
Oh yeah. It absolutely is, because with 9.1 they made it a little easier because of the very, very good renown catch up. So they made the renown easier to get all the way up to 40, so you could get a lot of companions really quickly. So I would say it's still very worth it. It's probably also because we're about to get flying, so a lot of the content that takes forever to do is going to be a lot quicker to do. So I would say it's definitely worth it to do, but it takes a long time, right? It's super grindy. So if you don't want to do something that's super grindy, I mean, it's completely fair. But yeah, it's definitely good gold if you want to put the time into it.
Nice. And it's relatively straightforward to do as well, right? Like, it's not rocket surgery.
No, it's literally it's grinding anima and upgrading your Covenant Sanctum to get to the point where you get more anima. And then when you've fully maxed out your command table, then you send out missions that will give you more anima than you use. And then it just passively makes you gold. Right? And that's really it, right? You grind renown, you go into Torghast, get all your companions, and then you're fine. So it's good. I would say it's good.
Sounds like a winner to me.
Darkshore, or can I call you Andrew?
Yeah, call me Andrew. Darkshore Capital is the name of the company. My name is Andrew.
Thank you, Peter. So I want to talk about your content. People can find you, by the way, on YouTube. If they type in Darkshore Capital, they will find you very easily. Tell us something about your content. What's your style? What do you want to bring over to the people that are watching the YouTube videos?
Absolutely, I would love to. Yeah, so YouTube's sort of kind of the main focus of my, whatever you want to call it, presence on the internet. And the main thing that I've been doing, and I was actually just looking back on this, doing this for almost 4 years now, which is kind of mind-boggling to me.
Are you sure it's not longer than 4 years?
I
thought it was 6 years because I know you from Legion, early Legion.
It could be. So
that makes sense.
First
Legion
video,
came out in 16.
I mean, my math isn't great, but my first video was posted on October 30th of 2017. So,
and Legion was also, it came out in 16, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, so my main kind of recurring video that I do it's called This Week in Gold Making. And it's intended to be kind of just like a recap, kind of regular periodical thing of just talking about like what's current in the world of gold making. Got a few different sections, like what have I been doing over the past week? What am I planning on doing? Just as a way to like both keep myself honest and, try to spark conversation, thoughts about new gold making stuff. I try to always have like a main topic that I talk about, which always just kind of varies whatever I'm feeling about that week. Go over market stuff, token price, kind of basic stuff like that, answer questions. And yeah, so I've been doing that for a little while, kind of on and off. There's been a few times I've taken a break, just depending on interest. And so there was two sort of slightly controversial things that I wanted to talk about actually with you guys tonight, if you'll entertain me.
No, we cannot do that. Next
controversial. Hell yeah.
I figured with all some of the previous episodes you've done, you might not shy away from this. But so the inspiration for this week in gold making actually comes from someone who you've probably heard of, is somewhat infamous. And I guess I'll preface this with saying that maybe we don't need to get into some of the more controversial stuff, but more just talk about his contribution to the financial world. There's this guy named Martin Shkreli, who you've probably heard of from something about raising drug prices or whatever. And he sort of became...
sorry, but I have never heard of that guy.
You never heard of this guy? No. Okay. Well,
we are EU, by the way, so we don't hear those things, happening in NA.
No, you definitely would recognize it.
I did hear about it.
Yeah. So the short story is this guy, he's a pharmaceutical executive / investor guide. He raised the price of some drug he had, some ridiculous amount, and became an incredibly hated person as a result of it.
Yeah. It was a cancer drug, no?
It was actually I don't know, it was just some really niche drug.
Something super, super required that a lot of people could use.
Yeah, well, okay. I don't want to get into the details of it because that's a whole other discussion. But the point is, this man is incredibly infamous and people hate him. But he had, it's since been taken down, a YouTube channel where he has like all this incredibly detailed information about real world financial stuff, which was like actually turned out to be an incredible resource for just learning sort of like basic business finance. And one of the things he did was every week he would, Sunday night, just go over like, hey, what is the market like today or this week? And just go over some topics. And I don't know, it was just really incredibly interesting and useful as a way to stay current with the real world of finance. So I was like, hey, all right, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Let's give this a shot and see how it goes. So that's where that came from. If we lose some viewers as a result of that, I do apologize. Again, this man is not very well liked, currently in prison, but that's okay. Yeah, so that's the inspiration for that. I don't think I've ever talked about that before, but there it is.
I mean, that's an interesting piece of motivation for a series.
Listen, I have a lot of inspiration on Jordan Belfort. I know he's a scumbag first class, but his way of thinking and his way of sales really inspires me to see things differently.
Yeah, well, and it really is an important just life lesson, and I'm sure we can wrap this around back into gold making as well, is like, given any situation, like there's always something you can look for to get something good out of it or a way to make gold out of it. Something absolutely. Like people always love to complain just in general, and especially World of Warcraft. And I actually looking through some of my old videos here, there's one here where the description is literally just the API is up, which reminds me of, this was back in 2018, like the pricing API was down for a little while. So like the sky was falling. People was like, I can't make gold. The API is down. Yeah. It's like, well, actually, this is a great opportunity, right? Like if something bad happens, don't just go, oh, woe is me.
Said more fire or pour more gas on the fire.
Exactly, because that's not going to help. That's certainly not going to make you any gold. Like take a step back, take a breath, figure out like, all right, what's going on here? Where's the situation here I could come in and help out and make some gold. It's a good. I
remember one of the super frequent things that people hated when it comes to gold making. That was baiting on the auction house. Mm-hmm. People absolutely hated it when at the start of the expansion. People figured out, oh, you can bait on the auction house. Like it's not been a thing for BFA. Obviously, people weren't really, they didn't know that it existed in BFA because not too many people did it. But when people started baiting, oh my God. I mean, if anybody saw you doing any sort of baiting on the auction house, they were like, you're a piece of shit. We don't like you anymore. They just, I don't know. I thought it was so funny because like, it's such a simple thing that every single person in the game can do, and people banded together to literally sit on specific servers to buy all the materials that were posted at baiting prices, which I thought that was really funny, and that's never happened with anything else before in terms of like I guess like auction house things. I guess it's like it was a way of both buying and selling things that I don't know, a lot of people had very controversial opinions about. So I thought that was interesting.
It is, and it's a tough one too, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like there's very clearly some shady stuff going on, or at least there was, with people baiting materials prices on Shadowlands legendary things. But like if you see somebody like who's posted something clearly way under market value at like one, like well what do you do? Like, do you just leave it? Do you buy it up? Like
you're supposed to buy it because you don't want to get scammed.
I think the responsible thing, like both the correct gold making and responsible ethical thing to do is to buy it up, because okay, now you're removing the chance that somebody else gets screwed, and you're also like gonna make a big percent return. Obviously the one piece of material isn't gonna make you rich, but it is profit.
Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of people were like, well, if I post it at this low price, I might catch some of these people that sit here and constantly repost things literally every 30 seconds. Then I might catch some of their materials, and then I have a chance to sell some myself.
Yep.
And a lot of people were hunting for materials to shuffle for, especially very early on, because shuffling was insane at the start of the expansion, because the amount of cloth that we got from 2x4s it was absolutely insane, and the vendor materials weren't too expensive yet. So people were hungry, really hungry for all of it.
Yeah. I want to go back to your videos, because your style of how you do your content is on a really scientific level. Not only as an info, but as well as in telling it. Are you that kind of person, or do you think it's really interesting to tell it in this way because we don't have it in your kind of style? Well, what's the thought behind it?
Yeah, so again, the inspiration still comes back to the old This Week in Investing thing that I mentioned earlier. Literally, it is the videos are literally a PowerPoint presentation that I prepare every week, and we just go through slide by slide and kind of just discuss whatever content is on there. And I do intentionally try to keep it very dry, because Darkshore Capital is a financial institution. We're trying to mimic what financial institutions do in the real world. And the best ones, the best hedge funds, like they're not all in here about flashy nonsense, right? Like they're here for business. We're here to make money. We're here to make gold. So here's the information, and we're going to present it, and you're going to digest it. We're not going to try to make it all fancy or anything. It's just going to be the raw, most important information. So from the beginning, I kind of did this for me. It's a very kind of like capitalist, almost like Ayn Rand-esque philosophy of that, like, I'm only going to do what's best for me. And if it happens to help someone else, well, I actually really don't care, but like that's good, I guess, in general. But doing these weekly shows, these weekly presentations, it's actually a way for me to kind of organize my thoughts and think about, like, what have I done over the past week? How have I progressed? Am I actually making gold? What can I think about for the next week? And yeah, organizing into a presentation just helps kind of keep my focus and make more gold ultimately. It is a nice side effect that they make, somewhat interesting videos that people seem to take to.
By the way, I only see Shadowlands. Is there going to be any TBC content in your weekly gold making content?
Yeah, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because I've been labeling the more recent episodes as Shadowlands, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. As in like episodes that came out while Shadowlands was the main WoW expansion. I've actually been talking quite a bit about TBC over the past couple ones, just because that's what's been taking up most of my attention. Might need to figure out a bit better of a naming scheme, or potentially do it as 2 different shows. I don't know. There's
you could cram it up like in one show, right? Maybe add a couple of minutes to the show, or
well, I also kind of need to actually log into retail to get some information that would actually be useful. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really heard too much feedback on whether or not having both in there at the same time is good for people or not. But
yeah, they both have their benefits. You could also do 2 playlists, like a retail one and then a classic one. Yeah, that can work as well. So
and I also try to always keep my main topics that I talk about sort of a little bit more timeless. So it's not like necessarily just too super specific. Like it's more just concepts that you can apply more broadly or, given a certain situation. So I think that there's some appeal in that for both retail and classic viewers.
Okay.
The other piece of content that I'm working on recently, I think I mentioned it, a Let's Play series where we kind of started officially. I haven't found any other record of this, so I'm going to call it, I made the first official hedge fund in World of Warcraft, where I'm trying to take all my friends' money and make a bunch of gold with it.
Oh, I heard about it. Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, so that's why you're playing TBC now. No.
Because I stole all their gold. It totally scammed them out of all their gold. Now I'm just gonna go play Burning Crusade. No,
yeah.
No, I did invest quite a bit of.
Deal to me.
Yeah, it was a great idea. I invested a lot of that gold into Shadowlands legendary materials, which I did go on and check the prices on those a few days before the patch, and wow, they went up a lot.
Yeah, if you want to make some gold now at the moment, definitely sell them now, because we're going to see a drop and we should then see an increase, but we're not sure, at least from my point of view, I'm not sure how high that increase is going to be.
It's very hard to tell what's going to happen right now because people aren't crafting anything because the rate isn't out.
Sure.
So it's all over the place, right? A lot that's going to drive the value of a lot of different materials is the rate coming out, especially for legendaries, because the first rank, the rank 5, we can craft next week. So it's going to be, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting the first couple of weeks. Going back to your beginning in World of Warcraft, I actually had a follow-up question. And what it was when I first started playing WoW back when, it took me a while before I got into gold making. And when I finally did, not like a lot of other people seem to do now. I just kind of did whatever seemed good, and I wiggled my way around the different professions and figured out what to do and what was best. Something I see a lot of people do now is they go around asking what's the best thing to do, and they look for a list of things to do or a full understanding of how things work. And I think that's also a regular thing that people look at when they look at the regular content in the game. They open up Wowhead and they see a full guide for everything they have to do for the patch, and they don't have to do any thinking on their own. And then they end up missing things or making mistakes. And I think one of the things about gold making currently is that a lot of people don't learn on their own. And I was just wondering, when you started making, or your early days of making gold, if you were more of I'm going to try and figure it out on my own, or you look to others for inspiration and guides and whatnot. Because I think in terms of...
Is that the question, or is
but it's a long story, okay? I had to explain the
it's
context
a beautiful
behind
monologue.
it.
I love it.
Yeah, I know, right? No, but it's Jack, it's because I wanted to know.
Yeah, just ask.
Gold makers are very different. So I was just wondering if you were one to figure out things in gold making on your own, or you look for others.
There we go.
That's a great question, actually. So I fall pretty firmly into the camp of taking inspiration from others and then sort of kind of running with that on my own once I kind of get a bit of a startup. So
take some crumbs and then run away with them.
Exactly. Yeah. So hey, this guy Fat Loot's Gold Blog, he's got some excellent ideas about transmog flipping. I'm going to watch this video. Okay, TSM, that's complicated. I'm a little more familiar with it now. All right, I'm going to go make my own string, and I'm going to go explore my own markets now that I have this kind of base knowledge. And then again, with that Ghost Iron ore flipping thing or shuffling thing as well.
Yeah.
Great idea to start with. All right, I'm going to do it a little while. Oh, this one actually looks like it sells a little bit more in this way. I'm going to kind of tweak it and do my own thing.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Definitely not
it was all around the place because what we see now with a lot of gold making content is everybody is talking about the same thing, and not everybody has the same opinion per se, but a lot of people are talking about the same things in the same way. So it's just the individuality between different gold makers is almost non-existent at this point. At least that's what I think. And that's why I like that we have different forms of content with podcasts and the way that you do your more like analytical way of making your videos. And I was just like, I'm sorry for the very, very long explanation, but I wanted to explain the context and the backstory of why I fought like that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
By the way, who's your favorite gold maker besides me?
Ooh, excellent question. It's got to be Samadan, right? Like,
wait, you not even say sensible?
I'm sorry, Zan, but like, how could you not love Samadan? He's the best.
I mean, I also love Samadan more than myself, so it's it's no big deal. I'm just gonna go cry now. No, no, I mean, it makes sense. I think it's because that's what I like about the different kind of gold makers that exist currently, right? Because he's doing a lot of the same things that a lot of other people are, but the way that he does it is just so different.
That's exactly
right. He explains it in a much more simple way. He makes something that is super complex into something you actually want to listen to.
Yep.
Right. And that's not something that a lot of people are very good at, which is nice. It's refreshing to see in gold making content.
It really is. So, I actually credit Samadan a lot with not only gold making, but like some even like real life problem solving development where like, don't worry so much about going full tilt into making something super complicated off the bat. Just like start really simple, understand it, and then build from that. And that's just so good if you can do that.
This is your moment to shine, Andrew. So I would say tell where people can find you.
Absolutely. Okay, so the main place, find me on YouTube. Darkshore Capital is the main channel. Give it a little subscribe, go watch some videos, give them some likes, leave some comments, we'll have a conversation. I'm on the Twitters as well, at Darkshore Cap, because there's...
Twitter, Cap.
Yeah, just Cap. Capital didn't fit, so sad. If you search for Darkshore Capital on Twitter, though, you'll find me. You can always send me an email, darkshorecapital@gmail.com. I try to always plug that one on the videos, because that seems professional to me. One day we'll get a more professional email address, of course, but until then, darkshorecapital@gmail.com. The Instagram thing doesn't exist yet, but it's someday. I actually have a really cool, like, professional idea for how to have a good Instagram page, but that's not ready for the real world yet. Just kind of a little teaser out there.
Okay.
You gonna maybe stream in the future? If you have time?
See. The Twitch, definitely give me a follow on the Twitch. There's 2 Darkshore Capitals on Twitch. The one you want to find is Darkshore_Capital. The other one is my scam account that I use to throw more subscriptions at people because
imposter.
Yeah, it's the imposter.
Perfect. Andrew, thank you for being on this episode, number 26. I hope you enjoyed it.
I did. It was a fun time.
Number 69. I mean,
nice.
That's something else.
I can't wait for that episode number. I'm serious. I can't wait.
We can skip it. We can skip it. Just go straight away.
You would never. You would never. Just have a 5-second episode. Just says 69. Nice.
Yeah.
No. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming on, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, you guys. It's really an honor.
Yeah.
I love the podcast, so keep up the good work.
Thank you. We will do. Well, that was the episode with Darkshore Capital. What do you think, then?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good episode. It was fun. It was definitely fun.
But we're going now to the end of the show. So
yeah. Oh.
Well, but that's okay because we got some stuff for next week.
Did you?
Yeah, because I'm not here next week.
No, you're not, Jack. You're just leaving me. I'm gone forever.
Well, bye-bye. No.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Sway.
Well, so I can explain after busy with work. So somebody's gonna replace me, and that's Menthius.
Yeah.
You're getting an upgrade.
I mean,
wow.
No. But we'll have Menthius on, or I'll have Menthius on as a co-host for the episode, just as Jack did a little while ago. He's going away for for a work trip. So we're going to see how that goes. We're going to talk about, obviously, the first raid week and how everything went with 9.1. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time. Absolutely, yeah.
Is Mantis, by the way, standing behind you?
Surprise,
No.
Oh. Damn it. That would be fun.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Right. Last thing, guys. If you like the episode, give it a like, give it a follow. Check us soon out on YouTube again. If you like it, you can also comment there. Yeah. Thank you all for listening again, and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget as well, go to Real Maintenance or the Warcraft Radio. Listen there to our podcast and many other podcasts like the Lion Sprite Tavern, and listen there to a great podcast. King Brewmasters is a nice one. By the way, go to World of Goldcraft from Lazy Goldmaker.
Goldcraft.
Yeah, it's a bit shorter, but it's interesting. A lot of stuff from Lazy Goldmaker. So check him out as well on World of Goldcraft. Give him also a follow, a like. Yeah, check it out. So we're getting to the end, and that means the last words.
Last words, Jack.
Viva Las Vegas. That's my last word. Hubba dubba dubba.
But
yeah.
That was my last thing.
I like the soundboard. Guys, thank you for listening to the podcast episode. Hope to have you back next week with Mencius and Sensible. Check us out on the Auction House website, and of course on my website www.golddipper.com, and on Sensible's YouTube and Twitch, twitch.tv/Sensible. Guys,
Sensible.
next week, that is episode 27. See ya later.
See ya.